That moment. You know the one. You're sitting in traffic, watching the minutes tick by. Or maybe you're standing in the shower, warm water cascading down your back. Perhaps you're lying in bed at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling. And suddenly, from nowhere, it hits you. Is this really all there is to my life? Your notifications are pinging. Your calendar is full. By every metric society has taught you to value, you're succeeding. The job, the relationship, the apartment, the followers. Yet, something gnaws at you. A hollowness. An emptiness that no Amazon package or Instagram like can fill. I felt it last Tuesday. Sitting at my desk, staring at a spreadsheet, realizing I couldn't remember what I did the previous Tuesday. Or the Tuesday before that. The days blending into weeks, the weeks into months, like water slipping through my fingers. Sound familiar? You're experiencing what philosophers call the meaning crisis. That growing sense that despite having more options, more information, and more connection than any humans in history, we're starving for purpose. Our grandparents had roadmaps, clear religious traditions, stable career paths, defined social roles. For better or worse, they knew where they stood. Those maps have crumbled. And now we're left asking, how do I create meaning when nothing seems inherently meaningful anymore? But here's what I've discovered. This crisis isn't just emptiness, it's also possibility. It's an invitation from history's boldest thinkers to become the architects of our own meaning. So if you've ever felt that quiet ache for something more real, more significant, stay with me. We're going to explore how to navigate this meaning crisis, not by finding old, worn-out answers, but by learning to craft our own. Part 1. When the old maps shatter, Nietzsche's earthquake. Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that your smartphone's GPS has permanently disappeared. No more Google Maps. No more step-by-step directions. Terrifying, right? Now multiply that by infinity. That's what happened to human civilization starting about 150 years ago. For thousands of years, humans navigated life with pre-drawn maps. Your church told you why you exist. Your village told you who you were. Your family name determined your future. Your gender prescribed your role. These weren't just suggestions. They were the fundamental operating system of human society. They answered the crushing existential questions we all face. Why am I here? What makes a good life? What happens when I die? Then came Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher with eyes like burning coals, who saw what others couldn't. These ancient maps were disintegrating. When Nietzsche declared God is dead, he wasn't just making a theological statement. He was announcing an earthquake in human consciousness. The absolute frameworks, religious, cultural, social, that had oriented human lives for millennia were losing their grip. Think about what happens during a literal earthquake. The ground, the very thing you assume will always stay solid beneath your feet, suddenly betrays you. It ripples. It cracks. Everything built upon it topples. That's precisely what Nietzsche saw happening to meaning itself. And in that rubble, he saw the seeds of nihilism, the suffocating belief that nothing matters, that existence has no inherent purpose or value. You've felt this. That moment scrolling through news of another mass shooting, another climate disaster, another political scandal, when you think, what's the point of anything? That's nihilism's shadow falling across your consciousness. But listen closely, Nietzsche wasn't celebrating this collapse. He was sounding an alarm and issuing an invitation. If the old gods are dead, if the old maps are obsolete, then we face both a crisis and an unprecedented opportunity. For the first time in human history, we have the terrifying freedom and responsibility to create our own meaning. Nietzsche called for the emergence of the Übermensch or Overman, not some fascist Superman, but individuals who, staring into the abyss of meaninglessness, don't surrender. Instead, they create meaning through their own choices, their own values, their own life-affirming acts. Picture a pianist sitting before a completely blank keyboard. No pre-written songs exist. No sheet music to follow. Just infinite possibility. Terrifying. Absolutely. But also, what freedom. What creative potential. What a chance to play a melody never before heard in human history. Your life is that blank keyboard. Part 2. Finding Light in Darkness. Viktor Frankl's revelation. If Nietzsche witnessed the earthquake, Viktor Frankl lived through the aftermath. As a Jewish psychiatrist imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl experienced the very worst of humanity. He watched as everything was stripped away: possessions, family, dignity, even names replaced by numbers tattooed on skin. In this living nightmare, Frankl noticed something that defied explanation. Some prisoners somehow maintained their inner humanity, while others descended into despair. In the barracks at night, one man would share his last crust of bread. Another would whisper words of encouragement. Some would walk to the gas chambers reciting prayers or singing. What made the difference? What invisible force allowed some to retain their souls when everything else was taken? Frankl's answer, which became the foundation of logotherapy, healing through meaning, was this: those who survived psychologically had found something meaningful to live for, even in hell itself. His core insight, described in his book Man's Search for Meaning, is that our primary drive isn't pleasure or power, but purpose. And meaning can be found in any circumstance, no matter how brutal. Frankl identified 3 pathways to meaning that work even today, in your life. Creating something. This is meaning through contribution. Think of Sarah, a woman I met who lost her son to an opioid overdose. Devastated beyond words, she started a support group for other parents. "I couldn't save my boy," she told me, "but maybe I can help save someone else's." Her pain didn't disappear, but she transformed it into purpose. What can you create? What problem can you help solve? What skill can you develop? The meaning isn't in the recognition, it's in the act of bringing something worthwhile into existence. Experiencing connection. This is meaning through deep relationship and beauty. Remember the last time you laughed until you cried with a friend? Or stood speechless before a sunset that seemed to set the sky on fire? Or held someone you love, feeling your heartbeat synchronize? That wasn't just pleasure, it was meaning revealing itself through connection. Who matters deeply to you? What experiences fill you with awe? Where can you be fully present today? Choosing your attitude. This is perhaps Frankl's most radical idea, meaning through inner response. My grandmother developed Alzheimer's in her final years. Watching her brilliant mind unravel was excruciating. My mother could have collapsed under the grief. Instead, she chose to see each day as a chance to love someone who could no longer remember she was loved. "She took care of me when I couldn't remember," my mother said. "Now it's my turn." When we cannot change our circumstance, we still have the final ultimate freedom, choosing how we respond to it. Frankl's message isn't some flimsy positive thinking. It's a defiant claim that even when everything is taken from us, even facing death itself, we retain the power to decide who we are in that moment. And that decision creates meaning that nothing can destroy. Part 3. You are your choices. The Existentialist Challenge. While Frankl was finding meaning in the camps, a group of thinkers in Paris cafes, the existentialists, were reaching a similar conclusion, from a different starting point. Jean-Paul Sartre, cigarette perpetually dangling from his lips, coffee growing cold as he scribbled furiously, formulated it this way: existence precedes essence. Wait, what? Let me break this down with something you use every day. Think about your smartphone. Before it existed physically, it existed as a concept. Engineers designed its purpose, its essence, before manufacturing it. Its function determined its form. Sartre argued that humans are fundamentally different. We show up in the world, we exist, without a predetermined purpose or essence. There's no divine blueprint, no cosmic instruction manual with your name on it. That revelation can feel like stepping off a cliff. If there's no preset script, then we are radically, sometimes terrifyingly free. But this freedom comes with a heavy burden. We are responsible for writing our own script through our choices, our actions. You are not what you think or feel or intend. You are what you do. Your identity, your meaning, emerges from the sum total of your choices. That time you scrolled Instagram instead of calling your mother? That was a choice about what matters. Staying in that job you hate because it's easier than changing? A choice about your values. Helping a stranger when no one was watching. That revealed something essential about who you are. No excuses. No determinism. No, that's just how I am. Every day, every hour, you are creating yourself through choices. Albert Camus, another existentialist, compared life to the Greek myth of Sisyphus, condemned by gods to eternally roll a boulder up a mountain, only to watch it roll back down again. Pointless. Absurd. Meaningless. Yet Camus asks us to imagine Sisyphus happy. How? Because in his very rebellion against this absurd fate, in his decision to keep pushing despite knowing the outcome, Sisyphus creates his own meaning. His purpose isn't in reaching the summit, he never will. His meaning is in the choice to continue, to engage fully with his task, to claim it as his own. Think about that person who runs marathons. The finish line isn't the point, it's arbitrary. The meaning is in the training, the struggle, the choice to push beyond comfort. The meaning is in the doing itself. Camus is saying, yes, the universe may be indifferent. So what? We can still find profound meaning in loving deeply, fighting for justice, creating beauty, and helping others, even knowing it's all temporary. The meaning is in the choice to fully engage despite the lack of cosmic guarantees. Part 4. Crafting your own map, practical steps in your meaning crisis. So we've journeyed with these profound thinkers. Nietzsche showed us the collapse of the old meaning systems. Frankl revealed how meaning can be found even in suffering. The existentialists challenged us to create ourselves through conscious choice. But how do we apply this to your life, right now? How do we move from philosophical ideas to Monday morning meaning? This isn't about discovering one grand, pre-packaged meaning of life. It's about weaving meaning into the fabric of your everyday existence, choice by choice, moment by moment. Here are 5 practical pathways. 1. Uncover your core values, your inner compass. Take out a piece of paper. Write down 5 times in your life when you felt most alive, most yourself. What values were you expressing in those moments? Connection? Creativity? Justice? Courage? Adventure? These are your core values, not what your parents, your culture, or social media tells you to value, but what genuinely resonates in your bones. Like Alex, a successful lawyer who realized his most alive moments all involved teaching and mentoring. His firm's definition of success wasn't aligned with his actual values. No wonder he felt empty despite his achievements. Your values become the compass for your choices. If creativity is a core value, how might you bring more creative expression into your day, even in small ways? 2. Create meaningful projects, your concrete contributions. Meaning often hides in the concrete, the specific, the tangible. Instead of vaguely wanting to help the environment, commit to transforming your apartment building's neglected courtyard into a community garden. Rather than abstractly wishing to be more creative, sign up for that pottery class and feel the clay between your fingers. Don't just think about reconnecting with your sister. Schedule the weekly call and really listen. Meaningful projects give shape to your values. They move you from vague aspiration to specific action. They connect you to others around shared purpose. 3. Embrace meaning moments, your daily practice. Big meaning comes from small moments fully lived. The genuine conversation with a barista where you actually see them as a fellow human, not just a coffee delivery system. The 5 minutes watching the sunrise before checking your phone. The decision to really listen to your child's story, rather than half attending while thinking about work. Meaning isn't just found in grand gestures. It accumulates in these tiny choices to be fully present, to notice beauty, to connect authentically. Try this. Set an alarm 3 times today. When it rings, ask yourself, am I on autopilot right now, or am I fully present? What matters in this moment? 4. Transform your struggles, your meaning in difficulty. We all face hardship. The question is, will your difficulties define you, or will you find meaning within them? After James lost his job of 15 years, he could have defined himself as a victim. Instead, he used the crisis to ask deeper questions. What skills had he neglected? What new contribution might he make? What had he been postponing out of fear? The layoff became not just a loss, but a doorway to renewal. When facing your own struggles, ask, what strength might I develop through this? What deeper understanding? How might this challenge help me grow into who I need to become? As Frankl taught us, When we cannot change our situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. 5. Connect beyond yourself, your larger story. Humans need to feel part of something larger than themselves. This doesn't require traditional religious belief. It can be found in many forms. Connecting to nature, feeling yourself as part of the vast, interdependent web of life. Participating in community, contributing to something that will benefit others long after you're gone. Engaging with art, music, literature, entering the great conversation of human creativity across time. Fighting for justice, aligning yourself with the timeless struggle for a more humane world. Meaning expands when we see our lives as chapters in a larger story. Let me be clear, creating meaning isn't a one-time achievement. It's a continuous practice, a way of engaging with life itself. There will still be moments of doubt, confusion, and emptiness. That's not failure, it's being human. But the profound insight from these great thinkers is that meaninglessness isn't something that happens to you. It's not your fate. It's not the final word. You have the capacity, right now today, to begin creating a life of deeper meaning. Not by finding the perfect answer, but by asking better questions. Not by following someone else's map, but by becoming a map maker yourself. Before we end, I want you to consider one question. What one small step could you take today to bring more meaning into your life? Perhaps it's reconnecting with a neglected value. Maybe it's starting a meaningful project, however small. Or simply paying fuller attention to the ordinary miracles already present in your day. This isn't just philosophical musing. It's about the quality of your one irreplaceable life. Share your thoughts in the comments. What resonated with you? What meaning-making practices have worked in your own life? This conversation continues together. If this exploration sparked something in you, please subscribe for more deep dives into wisdom that can help us live richer, more meaningful lives. Until next time, remember, in a world that often feels meaningless, you have the power to create meaning. And that might be the most meaningful thing of all.